Hello everyone, so welcome you all to Ashok Tutorials Meghalaya's first MTech channel. So as you know, we have been discussing health education, right? Health education of class 10. So we have been dealing with Unit 2, Chapter 3. So this is the last part of the chapter, alright? So today we shall study about HIV AIDS. Now, before studying what is HIV AIDS, let us know the full form. So what is the full form of HIV if I ask you? Yes, you are right. The full form of HIV is human immunodeficiency virus. Human immunodeficiency virus. And what is the full form of AIDS? Again, you are right. Yes, the full form of AIDS is acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. What is that? Acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. Good. So you understood the full form of HIV and AIDS. Now let me tell you what is HIV. So HIV is the virus, all right? It is the virus which causes AIDS. And what is AIDS? AIDS is the disease, all right, which is caused by the HIV virus. Now, in this picture, you can see the different ways by which HIV is transmitted. So, top you can see four ways, right, through which HIV is transmitted, and below you can see four ways through which HIV is not transmitted. So first of all, what do we see? We see unsafe sex. What is that? Unsafe sex, which means if the couple are having sex and they are not using any type of protection, then what happens? Of course, it does not mean that you have only one partner, but then if one individual is having many partners, all right, many partners they are having and they are practicing unsafe sex, then they are likely to suffer from HIV AIDS, or they are likely to transfer HIV from one person to other. All right, then another way is when a mother is pregnant but the mother is suffering from HIV. So when a mother is suffering from HIV and she is pregnant, even the child which is going to be born will be having HIV, all right, HIV AIDS. Now again, another way is drug addict. So you will see many drug addicts these days, right? You will see the drug addict in the form of what? In the form of beggars. So they will ask you money, right? In police bazaar, especially when you go to police bazaar, you will see many beggars, shabby, dirty. They are collecting bottles, right? Collecting the bottles, collecting the plastics. And why are they, like, what do they do by asking money from you? They ask the money from you in order to buy the drugs for them. They will buy the drugs, they will inject in themselves, and they will enjoy, right? So that's why. And you know how you can identify these drug addicts is by looking at their face. They have tattoos in their hand, in their body, in their face, on their neck. So you will see the tattoos in drug addicts faces and all over the body. All right, so I encourage, don't give money to this kind of people who by the look itself you can identify that this person is a drug addict and not a genuine beggar. Of course, to a genuine beggar you can give the money, but do not give money to drug addicts, and you have to be smart enough in order to identify them. And because it is your money, so your responsibility, right? And when you give money to the people who are doing drug, then indirectly you are encouraging them, right? What are you doing? You are encouraging them to do more and more drugs. Is drug good? No, drug is not good. It is illegal. If anybody caught using drugs or doing drugs, they will be directly held by the police and they will be put up in jails, right? So never practice drugs. So my dear students, this is my humble request to you to spread this awareness as much as possible. Tell to your friends, tell to your family members, tell to your relatives, tell to your peers how is AIDS transmitted. Then the fourth reason is blood transfusion. Suppose if there are two people, A and B. So suppose if B needs blood, B is the receiver, B needs blood, and A is the donor. B needs blood and A is the donor, B is the receiver. So the doctors will check for HIV AIDS, HIV virus in the blood of the patient or the donor A, because in order to transfer the blood from one person to another, the blood needs to be checked whether that individual who is acting as a donor is suffering from HIV. So suppose practically if you have given blood to anyone or anyone have given blood to you, they are asked to do the HIV test. So This is one of the good thing, because if not, then the blood will be transferred from a HIV infected person to a healthy or a different type of patient. Alright, so this needs to be taken care of. So what are the 4 ways by which HIV is transmitted? Number 1 is unsafe sex, another one is pregnancy, another one is drug addiction, and then the last one is blood transfusion. Now, my dear boys and girls, first especially I would like to tell to boys that whenever you go to salon and you do haircut, please make sure that the barber is using the new branded blade. Don't allow them to use the used blade. Suppose they don't throw the blade. Sometimes you will see many people, many barbers, they don't throw the blade. They are using the same blade over and over again. So don't allow that, because if same blade is used by many persons, suppose A also using, B also using, C also using, then HIV, there is a tendency that HIV infection might take place. This will be just like drug addiction. In drug addiction, what happens? Drug addiction, the people, they are using the same syringe. They will inject the drug in A, then again A will inject the drug in B, like that they take the drugs using the same syringe. So whenever you go to hospitals also, make sure that the nurses, the doctors, they are not using the old syringe or the syringe which is already used by somebody else. This is your right, this is your responsibility, this is your fundamental right, that you find out whether they have used a new syringe or not, whether they have used a new blade or not. Alright, so this is your responsibility. Don't feel shy, don't be afraid, just ask them, just try to see what they are doing. If you're afraid to ask, just try to observe them. Alright, don't blindly take the injection or don't blindly take the blade. Alright, so now what are the different ways by which HIV is not transmitted? So when you touch somebody, when you hug somebody, alright, when you are handshaking with somebody, HIV is not transmitted. Then through food, when you are eating with somebody who is suffering from HIV, does not mean that you will also get HIV. When you eat from HIV patient's plate and when HIV patient eat from your plate, it does not mean that HIV will be transmitted. Alright, and suppose kissing. So suppose there are 2 couples and they kiss one another, and suppose one couple, the girl, is suffering from HIV, then it does not mean the boy will also suffer from HIV just because he kissed her. Or suppose the boy is suffering from HIV, it does not mean that the girl will get HIV because she kissed him. No, kissing does not transmit HIV. Alright, HIV virus. Insect bite, even the insect bite will not transfer HIV virus. Alright, now let us see what we have. Oh yes, before that I would like to ask you, when is World AIDS Day celebrated? Yes, you are right. On the 1st of December every year we celebrate World AIDS Day. Now why do we celebrate World AIDS Day? Do we celebrate it to enjoy, just like we do for Christmas, just like we do for Puja holidays, just like we do for Eid? No, we are not celebrating it. Alright, the World AIDS Day is it's a program. Alright, World AIDS Day is a program in order to educate, in order to spread the awareness to the people that how is HIV caused, what are the do's and don'ts, and how can we prevent the HIV AIDS, or what are the symptoms, or what are the consequences, or how can we be treated, or what is the diagnosis method. So all these are being told to the public on World AIDS Day, that is 1st of December every year, right? So general programs are organized, then awareness programs are organized in the village, in the town, in the district, in the cities, right? So now let us read National AIDS Control Program. So you have to remember the full form NACP. NACP, what is that? NACP means National AIDS Control Program. And what is the symbol for AIDS? You will see this red ribbon. Do you see this red ribbon here? Yes, so this symbol you will see whenever we are talking about HIV AIDS. Alright, so let us read. So AIDS full form is Acquired Immunodeficiency Syndrome, which is the late stage of HIV, human immunodeficiency virus infection, has emerged as one of the most serious problems and grave public health concern in past few years. So we know that HIV AIDS is the disease and HIV is the virus which causes the infection. So when the people are not taking care of themselves. They are not, trying to find out, like, they are not ready for the test. So what happens, as the time goes on and on, the infection grows more and more, and eventually the person suffers from HIV. Now AIDS challenges the well-being of people suffering from it, their families, and also the communities. Now AIDS, what happens when somebody gets AIDS? So when somebody gets the AIDS, it challenges the people suffering. The people, they suffer financially, emotionally, mentally, physically, and their families are affected. The neighborhood in which they live are affected, the relatives are affected, the friends are affected, everyone is affected, right? It also threatens the socio-economic development of the country. And see, suppose, let me give an example. Suppose if there is a country where there are lots and lots of people suffering from HIV AIDS, then the economy of that country will be affected, right? The social status of that country will be affected. Thus it is not simply a medical problem, but it is also associated with economic and social issues. So we cannot just say it is a medical condition, it is a medical problem. No, because at the end of the day it will affect the citizen of the country. So eventually it will affect the country's growth, country's productivity, country's GDP, country's economy, country's social political well-being. Everything will be affected. All right, so at present more than 2.1 million people are infected with HIV in our country. Most of them are in the prime of their life. Now see, it is talking about India, our beloved country India. So in India it says that about 2.1 million of people are suffering from HIV, I mean suffering from AIDS, infected with HIV. All right, and they are in the first phase. So as you know, for cancer also there are different phases, right? First phase, second phase, third phase, fourth phase. So in HIV also there are phases. All right, so AIDS has no cure. See, this is a very, very dangerous line. I think you're sleeping. Don't sleep. Try to look at the screen. Try to look at the screen. What the dangerous line? Did you see? AIDS has no cure, which means once somebody suffers from HIV AIDS, it is sure that he is going to die. So my dear students, that's why AIDS is the most dangerous disease, just like cancer, because there is no cure. When somebody is infected with HIV AIDS, that person should get ready for his journey to the heaven or hell, whatever his karma says. It can only be treated, but the treatment is so costly that it is beyond reach of common people. Now see, HIV AIDS have no cure, which means it can be treatment relief you will get, but it is very, very costly, which means common people like you and me might not even afford the treatment. All right, so as we all know that prevention is always better than cure, right? Of course, we are not doing it intentionally, but even unintentionally it might happen through different type of syringes or blades in the salon. So that's why we have to take care. But it can be prevented if people know how the disease and how about the disease and how it spreads, so that they can take preventive measures to protect themselves from it. Now see, these can be prevented. Diseases can be prevented only when we know how to protect ourselves, how to take care of ourselves, what are the different do's and don'ts, right? So if we know, if we are educated, if we are aware, then only we can, take actions together, come out together, join hands together in order to fight this deadly disease called AIDS. All right. Now let us see the next slide. What does it say? So most people get infected through semen and vaginal fluids when they have unprotected sex with an infected person. Now see, this line is very, very important. So what does it say? It says that many individuals, many people, they get infected with HIV AIDS when they have sex or unprotected sex with the people who is already suffering from HIV. All right. Only a very small percentage of people get HIV infection through blood and blood products from unauthorized commercial sources, or when they may share unsterilized syringes and needles with HIV infected person. Now what does it say? It says that the number of people who are getting HIV AIDS from unprotected sex is very, very large, which means there are many, many people who is practicing this. unsafe sex. They do not use protection. So what happens now? They, due to the semen or due to the vaginal fluid, these infections or these viruses are transmitted from one person to the other. Unlike the AIDS, which is transmitted by commercial sources like the syringes, the needles, the blades, are very low. Alright, similarly, a very small percentage of babies may get it before they are born, during the process of their birth, or through breast milk after they are born from their infected mother. Now, also the percentage of the babies who are born out of pregnant women who are having AIDS also have a very low tendency of getting HIV. Alright, now AIDS can take 7 to 10 years to develop after people get infected by HIV. So what does it say? It says that, people can get, suppose if somebody got HIV in 2000 or in 2020, so he will take 2027 by the, suppose, all right, let me tell you nicely. So now it is 2024, right? The year is 2024. So suppose if somebody is suffering from HIV, so he will not know that tomorrow, oh yes, I am suffering from HIV. Day after tomorrow also he will not know that he is suffering from HIV. So it will take up to 7 more years to identify that, oh, that particular person is suffering from HIV. So suppose if somebody is infected, suppose somebody is infected with HIV in 2024, then that person will know that he is infected only in 2031 or 2034. So it will take 7 to 10 years. All right. Now, National AIDS Control Program was launched in India in December 1999. So what is this National AIDS Control Program? It is a program. When was it launched? It was launched in the year 1999. And what are the aims of AIDS control program? Let us see. Number 1, reduce the blood-borne transmission of HIV to less than 1% of total transmissions. So we have to reduce the transmission of HIV, which is done by the transfer of the blood from one person to the other, up to less than 1%. All right. Now, enable people to protect themselves from getting infected, and we have to educate, we have to spread the awareness to the people in order for them to get, protected, or in order to eradicate the disease, or in order to be safe. Now, control sexually transmitted diseases among sexually active and economically productive groups by promoting use of condom as a means of preventive of HIV infection and STDs. Now you see, as we have seen, the main reason for HIV transmission is unsafe sex, right? So unprotected or unsafe sex. So what is that? It means that the people who are engaged in sexual activities, they are not using the protective measures. Now, what are the protective measures? So protective measures are the condoms or the contraceptives, all right, which the person, they have to use when they are having sex with the infected person, so it can prevent it. All right. So STDs, what are STDs? STDs means the sexually transmitted diseases. What is that? Sexually transmitted diseases. So there has to be control over sexually transmitted diseases among sexually active and economically productive groups as well. Alright, now HIV/AIDS. The National AIDS Control Program was, alright, so what is another aim? Improve services for care of living with HIV/AIDS. And those people who are already infected with HIV/AIDS, we have to take care of them, we have to love them, we have to show them empathy, compassion, and make them feel good. We should take care of them. All right. Promote AIDS education in school, colleges, universities, and in the community. Now you see, we have to tell to the people how is AIDS transmitted. In school, we have to organize different type of programs, seminars, conferences, workshops. In colleges, we can do the same. In universities, and even in the community, in the village, in the neighborhood, we should invite different type of resource persons, the medical experts, the doctors, the nurses, the health officers, to come to the village and to come to the school, to come to the universities, and deliver the speeches on how to control the HIV/AIDS in the state or the country as a whole. Enable people to manage the HIV/AIDS problem themselves with their family and community. So we have to we have to talk to the people. We have to spread the awareness so that they feel comfortable and they can talk to the community, they can seek support. Even in the government hospitals, they can go and they can consult with the doctors, right? ICT, I think, if I'm not mistaken, what do we call it, that counseling? Yeah, it is called ICTC. So integrated counseling and testing centers. So in every government hospital you will find ICTC, that is integrated counseling and testing centers. You can go there and you can talk to the health experts, and they will guide you what to do and how to do. So as I told you in the beginning of the chapter, that December 1 every year is celebrated as the World AIDS Day, and each year has a specific theme to emphasize on. So what was the theme for the year 2023? Can you tell me? So if you do not know, let me tell you. The theme for 2023 was Let Communities Lead. Let Communities Lead, which means you, me, I, each and every one of us, we should join hands together and fight this deadly disease, by talking about it, by spreading awareness about it, by participating in it, by preventing it, or by organizing different type of programs at different levels. Now, all right, so this chapter is over, right? So it says thank you. So you understood that we have completed the Unit 2 Chapter-3 of Health Education Class 10. So I hope it was very much clear and very interesting. Yes, one piece of information I want to give you is that see, at first I was just scanning the book and I was teaching you, right? And then some of my friends suggested that I should make slides, so I shifted to slides. Now again, the students themselves, they are requesting me that, sir, it is better if you directly use the textbook while explaining, so that we can mark the important points point to point. So in order to take into consideration the request of class 10 students, I will be making my next videos from chapter itself. I will not be making slides anymore. I will directly use the textbook in order to explain that. All right, so I think that will be more beneficial and convenient for class 10 students of MBOS. So thank you everyone for staying connected with Shok Tutorials, Meghalaya's first MTech channel. So have a wonderful day. Thank you.